We're looking at a map of the Native American languages of the Pacific Northwest at the time of contact with settlers.
And it's a crowded map with must be about 50 different languages. And I'm imagining, I've taught languages of the world for a few times, and as an instructor or somebody who's developing course materials, I think that this would be just incredibly valuable if you can just go in and pull down maps like these to show your students. And I see you've got them color-coded by language families, so you could talk about the spread of certain language families or kind of drill in and look at an individual language. And it looks like you can turn on and off layers, so you can look at different groups of languages.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of flexibility in here. So can you take these maps, for example, and put them into a PowerPoint presentation if you're developing something for your course?
Yeah, most definitely. If it's come from a print source, we include on the website the original source, an image of the original map, so you can also save that. That's just as a JPEG, so you can put that and you can sort of compare.
So how do I find out where this map data came from? Because if I want to, I need to include a citation for it, right?
Yeah, definitely. At the top of the legend, each sort of layer, so we're looking at a couple different layers now, but we include these little symbols. So the about this map, if you pull that up, it basically brings up already formatted citation that I believe follows LSA standards. So you can say.
So you could just cut and paste that.
Yeah, basically, yeah, cut and paste it. So it's Campbell L, the dates, the original source, and we also include the date we digitized it. So if you want to cross-check if this is if this map is up to date, maybe we digitized this a few years ago, maybe we digitized it last month. We include sort of a summary of the information that was included with the original map. We try to include other resources for you to find through LLMap. Right on the bibliographic section, we include a little button, a little picture of a globe that says original image.
So if you have it, you're linking to it so that you can pull that up.
Yeah.
So I should probably mention that there's just a ton of maps in here, and it seems like you would be able to find so much great material for whether you're developing a course or making a presentation, or just for your own research purposes. Yeah, and I can see that you're doing some interpretation of the data, but it seems pretty faithful. It seems like you're preserving all of the original information, and in some cases making it. I guess easier to see and visualize, or at least if you're accustomed to your map interface, then going from map to map will be fairly familiar in looking at different data sets.
Exactly.
So,
and especially in sets like this, we attempt to keep the same sort of the same standards of how we display the data across the board. So if you go from map to map, then it will look the same. So for example, this one's the I and E merger. We'll clear that, and we'll pull out the COT merger map, and it will be the same color scheme and the same style.
Right. So when you layer maps of a similar type, then you're going to have a similar look and feel to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So this is an overlapping of the two different maps. So we've used different colors, but it's still the same. It looks very similar.
Right.
So then if you look at the legend, you'll see color. Oh, the green dots represent where a certain vowel merged in a certain position, whereas the yellow dots represent something else. And then we allow you to zoom in into a particular region. We allow you to turn off and on. That's one thing the original map won't let you do, which is great about digitized web resource. The original map, we have all the data all the time, but in this we can turn off certain data sets. So if you just want to specify one certain phenomenon, you can.
Right. It gives you a lot more flexibility there.
Yeah, so right now we're just looking at... So right now we can bring up just where two vowels merged.
Right.
And then we can compare that across the different sets. So we can look at, this is where and A merged, and then we can contrast that with where I and E merged or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I think so far you've shown me point data and the first set of the Northwest Coast languages. We were looking at polygon data. Do you have other kinds of data?
Yeah, we have points and we have polygons and we do have line data. And any given map can incorporate any combination of all three. So we have, I don't know the name of it right now, but I know one of my team members made a really great map that tracked the journey of some explorer through Alaska. So it had polygon data of the linguistic groups he encountered. It had the line data of the path he took. It had points of, this is a mountain pass, a famous mountain pass he went through. This is the log cabin he stayed in or something like that. And you can bring up the information on each time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know we do have somewhere some very good maps. Actually, someone who works at the Linguist List, she made her own hypothesis about migration patterns in Polynesia. So she put that on an LMAP and you can access it. You can see its line data as sort of arrows.
So you can upload your own maps?
Yes, exactly.
And share them? Or?
Yeah, we allow you to upload your own map if you have the right file types. And you can set them to be private until you're finished with them, so no one can look at your unfinished work. And then you can set them to be public. Every map will get a static URL, so you can save and share and collaborate with anyone else in your field or a different field to contrast and compare.
But so as part of my blog, what I want to make sure to ask you is, so it seems like finding out information about the languages of the world by navigating a map is such an intuitive way for anybody to access information about human languages, even if they're not a specialist in linguistics or in language of any particular region of the world. So what are you imagining? Can you imagine other uses of this data set for other kinds of purposes outside of linguistics?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, just the very fact that we allow any type of map from the user end to be uploaded. You can use our service for flora and fauna maps, for archaeological maps. And you can, and the fact that we do have lots of linguistic maps, you can cross-compare. So if you are, say, an archaeologist, and you find some various ruins or some sites or something like that in a given area, you can use our service to see, what were some ancient languages spoken there, or if you're unsure about what this could have been. I'm not an archaeologist, but ideally you can cross-check whatever you're interested in, and then in a region with linguistic data that is available to check, and incorporate it and maybe make a greater, do some greater research, make some connections that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do without access to such a dynamic mapping utility.
Right, so it's kind of a research discovery tool.
Yeah, exactly. We would love for collaboration between biologists, between archaeologists, between any kind of field that uses maps in any way.
Yeah. So it looks like right now we're looking at some sort of migration maps. Here were lines.
Yeah, these are ancient Mayan migration maps that chart Proto-Mayan, Mamayan, Kichian, and then we have sort of proposed dates from when that would have occurred. And as you can see, they're color-coded and they're in arrows. So we have this sort of Proto-Mayan polygon of a proposed area of where the original, the point of dispersion. And there's this overlaid on contemporary geopolitical map. So you can say, they started at sort of the border between Guatemala and Mexico. And then some migrated very far into central Mexico. A couple groups went further south into Guatemala. Some went to the Yucatan Peninsula. And one of my favorite things is that, so we can take this map of migration patterns from, what is this from? So we'll bring up the bibliographic information. This is from a Wikimedia Commons map that someone made from 1976 of Mayan migrations. And we include the original image. And then we can
it's Terry Kaufman's. It looks
is it Kaufman? Okay, yes. And then we can overlay that with contemporary Central American maps, so Central American languages. You'll see that. So you sort of drag and drop, and then it shows up in the legend, color-coded, based on language family. So we can compare sort of ancient.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really cool.
So we have basically these ancient Mayan migration patterns overlaid on contemporary linguistic areas of the speakers.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. I see it as possibly a very invaluable tool in research. And I hope others do too.
Yeah, I can imagine at least 10 ways just off the top of my head how I would put it to you, so I can imagine other people will too. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.